butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Lost my wallet about a month ago, so I had to get me a new card. So I'm probably not going to keep this in my wallet. I'll probably just put it in the house somewhere. So I copped this little brochure deal they got in the library. Got some programs that I need to start getting into. Start getting out my element, doing some new things. Look like some of the stuff they got on here is pretty interesting. So, I don't know, I might check it out. We'll see. What's going on, y'all? So I just came from the library and this is what I got. The House of the Last Resort by Christopher Golden. I never heard of this before. So the premise sounded interesting, the synopsis and whatnot. So I want to check this out. I have only 7 days to read this because I guess this is a newer book. It's came out in this year. So they don't want people to keep these newer books out too long. So no pressure. I usually take my time reading, but now I gotta blow through this. So hopefully I'll enjoy it. We'll see. I'm on chapter 13 of this book. Man, I want to DNF this book so bad, but I'm trying to get through it. So what's going on, y'all? And welcome back to the channel. So this time, I went to the library for the second time, and I decided to try to get a horror book because I'm into horror books and thrillers. And I decided to get The House of the Last Resort by Christopher Golden. And man, I'm kind of disappointed. No offense to Christopher, but yeah, this book wasn't for me. So let's discuss it. So we got our two main characters in this book. Their name is Tommy and Kate. And they are two Bostonian professionals that they seen this little ad, I guess, on the internet that you can buy a house for €1 in Italy in this little ghost town, you know, because it's kind of, I guess there's nothing going on in this part of town. I think the name was, I can't pronounce it, starts with a B, but
yeah, they get sucked in with this ad saying that they can buy a house for €1, but the stipulation is they have to commit to improving the house. I think they have to at least make €50,000 of improvements that's stipulated in this contract. So when they arrive to Italy, they meet their real estate agent, Franca, and she's like a 30-year-old attractive woman. She shows Tommy and Kate the house, but Kate starts seeing some, I guess, ghosts. And she also feels that Franca did not show the entire house properly because they see on the second floor there's this like door, a narrow door that leads to an annex, which they later find out that it's like a chapel. And this door is locked. She thinks it's locked, but a couple of days later, mysteriously, the door opens. Once they get this door opened up, they find out that it's a chapel, and there's a bunch of crosses and crucifixes in there. And so they're like, what's going on? We need to call Franca back and ask her, what's up with the house. How come you didn't explain this to her? But of course, there's a reason why that she'd explain it. But to continue with this review, apparently some strange things, goes on in this house. She starts seeing ghosts. And then Tommy's grandfather, who is Italian and from that town, starts to do some crazy things to Tommy's wife, Kate, which she later has a stroke. And these things are, I guess Kate thinks are a result of the stroke, but as you continue to read, you understand what happened and how Tommy's family is tied into this house. Also, this house has corridors that connect from the annex, that's a chapel, to these catacombs underneath the house. And yeah, that's when stuff happens. That's when basically shit hits the fan. I'm trying not to go into too much details. I don't want to spoil it. I gave you some minor spoilers, but so once they discover the catacombs and Tommy's grandfather has these strokes, that's when, the book starts going to this horror direction. But it just took entirely too long. The way it read was more like I was reading something from the Home and Garden Network, because they were talking about the house and improvements they wanted to do to the house. It just went on and on and on, about this little town in Italy, about the people. It just did not read horror for like over half the book. And it was like work really trying to finish this book. I don't want to get a horror / thriller book that feels like I'm doing a book report, like it's work or something. I want to be taken away. I want to be swept away in this book. So usually I like horror books and thriller books because they keep me engaged in the book. And, my attention span is kind of bad, so I get distracted easily. So a lot of times when I read, self-help books, stuff like that, I kind of either think about other things while I'm reading or fall asleep. That's why I like to read kind of disturbing books and thrillers. It kind of takes me to another place, you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys can relate, but this book right here, man, it was rough. It was a task to get through, not gonna lie. Man, it's yeah. I went to the library and did a search basically looking for a horror, kind of newish. So this came out this year, I believe, or late last year, not sure. But the cover really drew me in. So I'm not gonna lie. I kind of thought it was gonna be like a haunted house type of book, but I guess you can say it is horror. But man, it took entirely too long to get to the so-called horror or spooky parts, or the stuff that just drove me in, just drove me into the plot. This book was just too boring. It took over, I don't know how many pages. It's 300 pages. It probably took to almost page 200 for it to start getting good. But so if you like slow burn books, this is for you. It's rough, Towards the end, it gets a little better, but some of the horror moments was kind of cheesy. The things that's in the catacombs that they find, it just, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. So hopefully you might take a chance on this. You might like it. I don't want to sway you guys in your opinion of this book, but it just wasn't for me. So yeah, I do not recommend this, but hey, give it a chance for yourself. You might like it. Also, this book is really heavy-handed and within the Catholic religion, so it's more of a religious thriller horror. So just to let you guys know, I don't want to go too much into details because I want to spoil it here. I gave you some minor spoilers, but I don't think it really, if you decide to read this, will affect the storyline. But hey, that's all I got for this book.